All right. I'm just gonna send it to the news thing.
I miss Hangouts Live.
Yeah, Hangouts Live was amazing.
Yep. It was.
Okay. Motion for a quorum is on the table. As the highest ranking senator in attendance, due to the lack of attendance of a number of the senators, including Senator Cooley, Senator Romney,
Bennett.
I'd motion to give former Senator Gallagher's committees to myself.
well, we're gonna do
This is
we're
the
gonna
time
do
to
some
do that.
we're gonna do some actual business first. So just wanted to say really quickly, if you in the Senate chamber respond to the fact that we're having a meeting tonight, I think you owe it to the American people to join the meeting, or just don't say that you can join. Just don't give it a check mark. That being said, I'm sure they will all have excuses. Okay.
That'll all be real and valid
That'll
and
all be
legitimate.
real and valid. Some people went camping. Some people had an emergency. Some people's family.
Some people went to the Empire State Building when they live in Georgia, and
Who knows?
etc.
Who knows? You know. All right, let's get started.
And some grandmothers
motion
have
for
cats.
You live in Chicago and they
a
got
motion
shot.
a motion for a quorum is on the table.
Second.
As the thank you for the second, Senator Scott. As the highest presiding senator, I think what we're gonna do here, just as my staff, myself, have gone through the rules, we see it as legally in our power as senators to appoint whomever we wish as the presiding officer. And as it seems a tad bit unfair, I mean, Senators Scott, myself, and Evans have been, I think, self-titled champions of fairness in the Senate in this session, and I think those titles are well earned. But to uphold those titles, to uphold that consistency, I think it's important for us here to nominate someone completely objective, who can have us run a 4-person, 5-person Senate without our elected presiding officer present. And who knows? Maybe he shows up in the hours that we're here, or the president pro tempore designate, who I have total faith could do the job. All right. That being said, a motion for a vote on having former senator, administrator of the community, Charlie Williams, preside over the Senate for the second session of the 9th Congress is on the table. A roll call vote shall be had. Senator Scott.
No.
Senator Evans.
Abstain.
Senator Cunningham. Senator Cunningham. If someone could ping him in the chat and just tell him that a vote is on the table, that'd be great. Senator Abdullah, how do you vote?
Wow.
Well, Henry's is typing now, so we'll see. Just for clarification, Senator Cunningham, the vote is on on whether or not to have former Senator and Administrator to the Community Charlie Williams preside over the Senate right now. All right. So as the vote stands now, we're waiting Senator Roberts' vote. I won't vote until then. Senator Roberts, please vote. Or Senator Abdullah, sorry. Please vote. As the vote stands now, we have 1 in favor, 1 against, 1 abstain, which leaves us with 5 no votes. Again, waiting for Senator Abdullah.
What's the vote on again?
Whether or not to have former Senator and Administrator Charlie Williams be our presiding officer for tonight. It's not that challenging of a vote, Senator. I'm sure Mr. Williams will understand either way how you vote.
I vote yes.
Okay. As the vote stands, 2 in favor, 1 against, 1 abstain, I cast my vote in abstention, leaving the motion having not passed. And we'll just continue forward with the business of the Senate tonight, I think. All right. Motion for a quorum is on the table. Senator Scott, how do you cast your vote?
Aye.
Senator Evans?
A.
Senator Cunningham? Motion for a quorum. That's an aye. Senator Abdullah, how do you motion? Excuse me, how do you vote? Sorry. How do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right. I vote in the affirmative for the motion, with 5 votes in the affirmative, 3 having not voted. The Senate is in order, and it is my pleasure to start the business of the Senate tonight. Okay, so what I want to say first is if there's a senator willing to record in the Senate chamber chat just the results of each motion and giving that result a title, I think that'd be phenomenal.
Where's the clerk?
Huh?
Where's the clerk?
Well, that's a great question. Where is the clerk?
Fired.
Maybe Charlie could take that on or something. Just so we have a record of what the Senate does and at what time.
Thank you, Charles.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Motion for unanimous consent on Charlie Williams being Senate clerk.
A.
All right, I'll take that as a second, and with unanimous consent, having heard no objections, I'm going to say that is so heard. And Charlie, you are now Senate clerk, so you have speaking privileges on the floor when needed, and can do all that stuff. All right, so is there any senator wishing to speak on the floor as of right now to start us off? We have a couple of events that have happened. I know the Algeria crisis is ongoing, so there's definitely things for us to talk about. So who would like to hold the floor first?
Mr. President.
Senator Evans of Washington, you're recognized by the chair.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's great to be here once again on the Senate floor with many of my colleagues. I also would like to welcome Senator Abdullah into the Senate for the first time, I think, maybe. And I was very glad to see that he took up the role of former Senator Gallagher after his expulsion. It's never easy to take on a large responsibility, such as becoming a senator. But I have nothing but the highest faith in him and what he will do here in the Senate. And I believe we're going to make great strides in ways of supporting the American people. Mr. President, I believe everyone else can say the same. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to speak once again about the situation in North Africa, as well as West Africa. Mr. President. Mr. President, sorry, I was in the House for a very long time. I'm used to it. But Mr. President, what we saw in 2011, 2012, 2013, 14, 15, and 16 in regards to the Arab Spring were extremely detrimental to the well-being of people in the Middle East, West, and Northern Africa. Countries were broken apart, people killed, armies dissolved, and economies destroyed. I believe, and I believe everyone else believes, that we shall not and should not allow a situation like the Arab Spring to happen in the Western Sahara. While the Algerians continue to be on the move, the president has not taken decisive action. The Senate has passed an Algeria resolution to stop fighting in Western Sahara and to ensure that democracy prevails over imperial powers. The U.S., or more which I cannot speak for the United States as the president, has not spoken to the Senate about the situation, has not signed the Algeria resolution, and has not stated publicly his stance on the resolution. The Senate believes that the only way forward in this is to take action not through sending boots on the ground, but through diplomatic channels. We will stop Algeria's intervention into Western Sahara and Morocco through supplying aid for the retrovirus. We will not send in guns to kill families. What we will do is we will send our diplomats, we will send our people in, and we will get freedom and fairness for the Sahrawi people and for Morocco. Algeria, which is one of the largest suppliers of oil in North Africa, we will not be intimidated by them. Although they are large in size, we are larger, not just in size, but in military ability, in heart, and in strength. The United States must stand firm for democracy across the world. Democracy that is not full of corruption, but democracy that focuses on the people. Once it is safe, once the State Department regards the Western Sahara as safe, we'll take a trip to the Western Sahara after the president hopefully signs our Algeria resolution, so that way we can end this war, we can stop Algerian imperialism, we can push back against the OPEC cartel, and we can secure West Africa for the people once again. I hope that all my senators concur with me in calling on President Cawthorn to sign the Senate Algeria resolution and to actually prevent a situation like this spreading into more countries down the Gold Coast. We must take action now, and we must do it swiftly and decisively. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Evans. Very passionate speech on a very important issue facing not just our nation, but the entire world. And I think it's so clear, and I'll just take some time for myself as chair, just a little bit. So think about who, if there's someone out there who's going to speak next, what you're going to say, I guess. I think it's so important for us to focus on this issue, and a bit sad. I mean, President Cawthorn has done a good job. He's a great Republican president, and I look forward to his re-election. But it's unfortunate when we have such an important crisis. Algeria in a total failed state situation. Morocco on the brink of war, in large part in war. We owe it to the people of North Africa to get the job done. The Senate Algerian resolution offers a solution to these crises that has never been seen before, a solution which addresses them at a level which has never been seen before. And what is so clear is that the State Department and the administration has either ignored, not read, or chooses not to sign this legislation or speak on the issue. I mean, we've seen an executive order, but that's about it. I think that's quite unfortunate, and I hope through our pressure here in the Senate, we can start to make some real changes to the administration's approach on this issue. That being said, is there a senator? Oh, and I just want to welcome Senator Romney to the floor. Glad to see you here, and you'll be added to the thumbnail shortly. Is there a senator who wishes to speak after or on the floor?
Mr. Chair.
Senator Scott is recognized by the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman, I don't have a lot to speak on. I didn't plan on speaking tonight, but as someone that is one of the more higher-ranking senators in the GOP caucus, I'm in constant communication with the administration on this effort, and I have received word that the president will be signing the resolution tonight, which is a step forward. And although I think I join all of my colleagues here, Republican or Democrat, in wishing that the president had done this sooner. It's done, and this, I'm sure, will bring a start to peace in the region. So I just wanted to inform you all of that. I was literally speaking with him throughout getting in this call about signing the resolution, and I think we've gotten just a step closer to getting this whole mess behind us. So with that said, I would like to yield the remainder of my time back to the chair.
Apologies. All right. What did I do there? Sort of messed up the... Okay, sorry. All right. Thank you, Senator Scott. Again, an important thing, and I'm glad to hear one of us is in communication with the president on this issue. I know my office has heard from him earlier today, and we should be getting some movement on that, and I think I'm glad to see it for sure. That being said, I think as chair, I'm going to take the liberty to start a discussion on a few hypotheticals that I think the Senate should look into dealing with and having a conversation on, especially as the 8 or 6 elected members of the highest, most prestigious legislative body in the world. I think our opinions matter on this issue, and I think we should offer them. So that topic being a declaration of war in Algeria to aid this crisis in every way possible. Now that could look like a number of different things, whether that be boots on the ground, an air offensive, etc. But I think the practice we've seen over the last 40 some odd years of engaging in military offensive tactics while not issuing declaration of wars has created here at home a domestic political crisis in which we see anti-establishment sentiment rising up and coming against what is military protection to keep people safe. But if the populace doesn't see the Congress and their elected leaders taking action and declaring such safety or such procedures which are required for their safety, then we can very easily, as leaders, breed that animosity within the country, which has bred this populist fervor, which has elected Donald Trump and others. That being said, I am in favor of at least looking into what the procedure to that would be. And once the president signs the Senate Algerian resolution, there is there's text in there that authorizes the Pentagon and basically instructs them to create a game plan for that. I think since that has passed, we should also be thinking about our own game plan for. We think about our own game plan. Sorry, I just got some crazy news. We think about our own game plan in terms of what we need to do, authorizing such a plan created by the Pentagon. So, if there are strong opinions on this, which I would hope there are, given the fact that this is a declaration of war, I would open up the floor to the Senate, so anyone feel free to interrupt what I am about to say if you have opinions on this. But war is a big
Cunningham
issue.
said something.
Oh. My apologies, Senator Cunningham. All right, I'll read it out once you're finished. Senator Cunningham is writing, so we'll wait for him to be done. We're still just waiting on Senator Cunningham. I'm not trying to rush you, Senator Cunningham. Just trying to make sure that people know why we have dead air going on. Just to space out the dead air, because I don't like dead air. The Senate so far has voted on 3 motions. The first of which being a motion to designate former Senator and Administrator Charlie Williams as Senate Clerk. That motion passed with unanimous consent. And if you excuse me, that wasn't the first. That was the last. The first was a motion to designate the same former Senator and Administrator, Mr. Williams, as presiding officer of the Senate tonight. That motion did not pass, but the vote count was 2, those senators being Abdullah and Cunningham, 2 abstentions, those senators being Evans and Sanders, and 1 no vote, or 1 nay, that senator being Senator Scott. There was a quorum call, of course, which passed unanimously with Senators Abdullah, Cunningham, Evans, Sanders, and Scott, Senators Bennett, Cooley, and Romney having not voted. Senator Cunningham, I'm sure, is writing a phenomenal speech that I cannot wait to read out. Senator Cunningham is a good colleague of mine from Cambridge. I'm very proud that Cambridge has both leadership positions in both parties. I think that that's a very good testament to the leaders in the Senate. And actually, I'm just getting word that the president, thankfully, thanks to the work of Senator Scott and PMs, has just signed the Senate Algerian resolution authored by Senators Evans, Romney. I don't know about that last one. I don't know. But Senators Evans and Romney and myself for sure put together this legislation right as we saw the news break, and I'm very proud to see that this legislation has been passed. That being said, Senator Cunningham has the floor now, and I'll be reading out his speech. He says, "Mr. President, I want to be clear with my views on a possible declaration of war. I will simply oppose one, as the American people has suffered enough with constant non-ending wars for the past few decades under several Congresses and presidencies. Now is the time to push harder for a peaceful solution, as boots on the ground will end to more chaos and ugly consequences seem with our intervenes in the Middle East and all over the world. I yield the floor." A couple of typos in there, but totally understandable. Is there a senator who would wish to respond to the minority
Mr.
leader?
Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Evans, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, I am in complete support, and I helped to author the Senate Algeria resolution. However, I believe that a declaration of war, sending people into Western Africa, is not the way to go. Like I stated in my statement to the floor, I believe we need to go through diplomatic channels like the Algeria resolution has done. I believe it is the prime example of how to deal with the situation correctly, and I believe that we are going to reap the benefits that we sow in regards to this bill. I am a devout pacifist, and I believe that no war is justified unless one's own country is being invaded. I believe sending troops in to Western Africa will just land us right back where we were in 2001 and beyond, when we went into Afghanistan, when we went into Iraq. Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, I am not willing to risk that again. I am only willing to go as far as the Senate Algeria resolution to secure democracy. My ambition is not to take natural resources from Algeria. It is not to submit Algeria to the United States power. It is only to secure peace, prosperity, and democracy for the Sahrawi people and for Morocco in the region. So I stand with Senator Cunningham in saying no war in Algeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Evans. Is there another senator who would wish to take the floor? Seeing none, I'm just going to respond to Senator Evans real quick, unless there is a person. So I would agree wholeheartedly with the sentiment that Senator Evans put out. I think it's atrocious that the United States has exploited poor and low-income people, largely African-American people, straight out of high school. You know, we got the school-to-prison pipeline, and then we have the school-to-military pipeline for low-income and African-American communities. That's unacceptable. and we cannot continue a system in which we exploit impoverished people for economic resource wars across the world. I don't think any sensible person not bought out by the defense contracting industry would say that. What I brought up here is the conversation, and I think that what I would support in terms of a military aid for the Algerian people, in which we're seeing an offensive right now, is an air campaign, not drones. I think drones are inhuman and a dehumanizing thing for our military, but we can push back on some of the advances that this modern Chinese army has made using our surveillance capability. We have a multi-billion-dollar surveillance state here in the states and across the world. We can use our Air Force capability, in which we put significantly less lives at risk, in which we have air bases already ready to go at a moment's notice from this thing. And we can urge our allies in the region who have people on the ground to do so. What I was saying in terms of a declaration of war, and what is atrocious about our wars of the last 40 years, is that when we go after a country justifiably, or a nation justifiably, using our air campaign, we don't authorize, as the Congress, that air campaign. We leave it completely up to the president. That is not just unconstitutional. It doesn't just breed populism here in the States, keeping us from being able to affect real national security abroad. It undermines the democracy, the democratic republic that we have here set up in the United States. Completely undermines it. It shells power to the executive while stripping away piece by piece the power of the legislative branch. I think I know all I was saying was if we are going to go after this, if it ends up being that airstrikes are a necessary thing, the Senate and the House cannot allow the executive branch to do such actions, whether that be air support campaigns or instructing the intelligence agencies to go after contacts on the ground to stir up some support for the people of Morocco and Algeria there. That cannot happen under the sole authorization of the executive branch, the Secretary of Defense, the Pentagon, etc. That has to come from the legislative branch. That's my only point. I would never support bringing boots on the ground. I think it's atrocious what's going on, and boots on the ground. We've seen cases in history in which we need boots on the ground. We don't have an Adolf Hitler in this world anymore, and we don't need to be expending American troops for that ability. That being said, all right. I as I understand it, unless there's a senator wishing to speak or bring a motion on this topic, as I understand it, there's a couple of senators who have legislation to bring to the floor. So if you've written a piece of legislation and it's stuck in committee, or if you've written a piece of legislation, haven't introduced it to committee, or if it's in the process, here in the Senate floor, we do have the ability. I mean, we have the ability always, but we have the ability here on the Senate floor, just as to get business done here while we're in person, so we can debate things, etc. We have the ability to motion to move that through committee. So if any senator has a piece of legislation they wish to pass through the Senate or get it on the floor, I think we'll open up the floor for legislative debate now. So who would like to start off that legislative debate?
What are we debating on? What bill?
Well, you can.
Or is there not a specific
There's
bill?
not a
We're
specific.
just like,
Well, I've opened up the
Oh,
floor
okay.
to. It's like legislative hour, so now there's a debate, so you can bring up a bill if you have one.
okay. Can I like make up a bill right now or like a resolution and just read it
You
We vote
100%
on
could.
it.
Yeah.
now?
Yep.
Well, let me think of something. Hold on.
Time's up.
I have a
you have
resolution.
the Support for Democracy Act, Jacob. I mean, there's a couple of bills that haven't passed.
I do have that. So, okay. Also, everyone needs to go vote on that now. But I do have another bill I've just
That's what we
created
can
in
do
my
right
head
now, is what I'm
that I'd
saying.
like to propose. Okay. The bill is entitled the Financial Availability Act. The idea of it is to mandate I don't know the official term for it, ATM in every school building. I just thought of this. And this will provide for better financial accessibility for teachers and students. Yeah. So ATMs.
Can we like freely discuss without having to, recognize and everything? Is that permissible?
100%. Yeah, we're in debate.
Actually, never mind.
We're in debate on the
Hold on.
bill.
I'm
No,
changing- I'm
that's the
changing
bill.
the
That's
resolution.
the bill that's brought up, Senator Scott.
No, I'm amending it.
You're free to speak on the legislation.
Question. Not my name. No, I'm changing the legislation.
Senator
I
Evans,
just
you
changed
still have
it.
the floor. You still
It is to and not. Thank you. Not an ATM in every school. An ATM in every Department of Motor Vehicles location in the United States.
Okay, my question still applies. Would that be required? Is there like specific provisions that would require it inside a school, outside a school?
We just
or-
changed it. It's not a school.
DMV,
It's-
whatever.
Yes.
Does it have to be
Inside.
inside the building? Okay.
No. Wait. No. Sorry. Inside or outside. Doesn't
Okay.
matter as long as it's within
My question is,
100 feet.
some may argue that this would be the duty of state or whatever they're called here,
Municipal government.
state or local government, municipal, right? So how would you go against? How would you say that someone that would argue that is wrong?
Banks are federally operated. ATMs are in every country in the world. So why should not?
Vehicles?
The Department of Motor Vehicles is a place where everyone has to go to at least once in their life, as long as they have a driver's license.
Yeah, but it's operated by the states.
Yes, but the Department of Motor Vehicles is applied to the federal government above, like it's operated by the state DMVs, but the state DMVs, say for example, there's a fugitive and they're at a state DMV, but the federal people have to come get them because they committed a crime internationally. So then it applies federally. So that's how that works.
Okay. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's.
I'm
You're
just,
welcome.
this isn't going to impact my vote, but I expect this, if it were to be passed, expect it to get challenged in the Supreme Court.
I was
I
gonna
don't
say.
care.
It's federal
All right.
overreach. I'm just saying.
Is there a senator wishing to speak further on this legislation? Hearing none, the chair is going to move forward with a vote. Senator Scott on this resolution, the title of which Senator Evans can tell us right now.
Are we
The
bypassing?
financial availability in Department of Motor Vehicles
correct,
Act
Senator
of
Scott, thank you.
2021.
The first motion will be to bypass the Ways and Means Committee. Senator Scott, how do you cast your vote?
I'm not on the committee.
Well, you don't have to be on the committee to. This is the full Senate resolution.
Oh, this is the full Senate.
Yeah, the Senate as a
Vote in the
body
affirmative.
can do that. Yeah,
How did he vote?
in the affirmative.
I
Aye.
didn't hear it. Aye. Okay.
Senator Evans,
Aye.
Senator Cunningham, aye. Senator Romney, sorry, I keep almost calling you Brown.
Aye.
Senator
I'm a Republican
Abdullah?
woman, Romney.
Senator Abdullah.
Ezzy. Robert Abdullah. Abdullah, how do you vote?
We're going to move forward and
Okay.
consider him a no vote.
Okay.
I, as the chair, cast my vote in the negative. That being said, the vote stands at 4 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, 3 having not voted,
And what?
or sorry, 4 having not voted, and the resolution is agreed to. The bill is on the floor. We will be moving forward on a debate sorry, Senator Evans, if you could just jog my memory again, please.
The Financial Availability in the Department of Motor Vehicles Act of 2021.
The financial availability in the Department of Motor Vehicle Acts of 2021 is on the floor. So, before we move to a debate, I just have to give my 2 cents on legislation and my reasoning behind a nay vote and a nay vote on the legislation itself. If you could text the name to Mr. Williams Evans, that'd be great. So this legislation seems like a good idea. Greater access to ATMs means greater access to cash, etc., etc. But it also seems like a solution, creating a solution for a problem that does not exist. And I think the senators who are committed to fiscal conservatism and states' rights, the rights of local governments, they should not vote for this legislation. This, to me, is an overreach of government. Where there is a need for ATMs, local communities will put ATMs. If there is a school with a bunch of teachers that are crying out in need for an ATM, then I'm sure the local select board, the local school board, the mayor, the city council, the state house, whatever, would be glad to hear those teachers' concerns or the concerns of a DMV worker, whomever it may be. For the United States Senate to take on this legislation, I think, is beneath it, and I urge every senator to vote against this resolution. That being said, I'll give a couple of seconds if there's another senator wishing to speak on this legislation.
Can I just say really quick, I have 10 more bills to introduce after this.
We're looking forward to it.
10.
Okay.
10.
Hearing none.
All will save the taxpayers
Hearing
millions of
none.
dollars.
Hearing
Sorry.
none. We will be moving forward with a vote. Senator Scott.
I don't know. Can you come back to me?
Senator Evans.
A.
Senator Cunningham.
I have my vote. Tis in
Cunningham
the
today.
affirmative.
Well, he said A. Okay, sorry. I was looking at my phone.
Yeah.
My apologies. Senator Cunningham votes in the affirmative. Senator Romney.
Nay.
Senator Romney votes nay. Senator Abdullah.
Nay.
Senator Abdullah
Eva!
votes nay. Senator Scott.
After much prayerful consideration, I have decided to vote in the affirmative.
Senator Scott votes in the affirmative. As the vote stands, there are 3 votes in the affirmative, 2 votes negative. The chair votes nay, leaving the legislation in a tie. If someone could please put the legislation on the floor with the current vote tally and then ping the senators who have not voted, that would be phenomenal. But as the legislation stands, it is on the table. So heard.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Evans, I'm going to make an executive decision to bypass you real quickly and introduce
Evil.
a piece of legislation of my own to the Senate floor. One that's,
Not biased, by the way.
well, you did just get a piece. I mean, is there another senator other than
Fine. Since I have 10
is
more
there another
bills to
senator other
propose,
than
you can
Evans
go for
or
it.
myself who would wish to put up a piece of legislation?
I ask that the energy independence bill is put up for a vote.
No one knows what the Energy and Independence Bill is, so you gotta send that somewhere.
Okay, then I also ask that the Women's Choice Act is...
See, now you're just naming legislation. You gotta focus on the energy bill. Where's the energy bill?
Let the Women's Choice Act be put to a vote, bypass committee, the bias committee. I motion to bypass whatever committee, domestic affairs committee.
Well, if somebody could just
For the
send
Women's
these
Choice Act.
send these pieces of legislation to a chat, that'd be phenomenal.
Yes, Massa. Hold on, Massa. I'm finding it. I'm gonna DM it to you. Is that okay?
You could just put it in the chamber, but
Or why don't I just send it? Don't get sassy. There we go.
all right. Protection of Women's Rights Act 2021 is all right. Motion to bypass the Domestic Affairs Committee is on the table for the PWRA of 2021. Senator Scott, how do you vote on the bypass motion?
If I could just have a minute to just state that I am voting in the affirmative for the simple purpose of I'd like to get a lot done tonight. That does not reflect how I would want this bill to end up passing, but I will be voting in the affirmative to bypass the committee process.
Thank you, Senator Scott, for that important and alien perspective. Senator Cunningham, how do you cast your vote on the bypass motion? Senator Cunningham.
Enrolled.
Senator Evans, how do you cast your vote?
I cast my vote in the affirmative. He votes A. Cunningham just said A.
Senator Cunningham votes in the affirmative. Senator Romney, how do you cast your vote?
Aye.
Senator Romney
Gingley.
votes in the affirmative. Senator Abdullah, how do you cast your vote?
A.
Gingley.
Affirmative.
With all votes in, the vote passes unanimously. Or sorry, I vote in the affirmative. The vote passes unanimously. It is so heard. The Protection of Women's Rights Act of 2021 is on the floor. I'm going to make a motion for unanimous consent on giving the Senate just till 9:53, my apologies, Eastern Standard Time, to read this legislation. Since we've bypassed committee, is that
I motion for the clerk to read the legislation aloud in full.
Second.
without objection?
You ask.
I motion that the clerk reads it in French, like when he was the block.
Oh my lord!
I object to that motion and would respectfully ask that you pull it away so we don't have to vote on that. All right. The motion, Senator Scott's amendment to the motion to have Mr. Williams read out the bill in French is on the table. Senator Scott, how do you vote?
I object to my own motion.
Huh?
I would like to object to my own motion.
Well, I objected to it, so that's why we're
Or-
voting on it. So you can pull it back.
Can I withdraw?
Yes. Thank you.
I will do,
Senator Scott has been very considerate to the business of the Senate and withdrawn his motion. The motion to vote on whether or not to have... we had unanimous consent, and then Scott messed me up. Without objection, motion to have Senator Clerk Williams read the bill is so heard.
Motion to make him read it fast.
All right, Clerk Williams, go ahead. I'm so used to having you in the Senate.
Protection of Women's Rights Act of 2021. Author Senator Adam Evans, Republican of Washington. Sponsor Congressman Cory Booker, Democrat from New Jersey. Senator Henry Cunningham, Democrat from Maryland. Section 1. Purpose of the Act. 1. To ensure the protection of a woman's right to have control over her own body. 2. To promote freedom of one's body no matter what. 3. To push for smaller government and to give people the ability of self-determination. Section 2. Federal funding for Planned Parenthood. 1. At the start of the next financial budget, the U.S. federal budget for Planned Parenthood shall include funding for abortion procedures. Section 3. Protection of women's rights. 1. A national hotline for women who feel threatened because they wish to or have received an abortion procedure shall be set up. The hotline shall be named the Women's Protection and Healthcare Hotline. B. The hotline call center shall be based in Washington, D.C. at a government-purchased facility. Section 4. Punishment for intimidation. 1. Physical and verbal intimidation of women in regards to healthcare shall be punishable by a Class 3 felony. A. Physical is defined as the attachment of any body part of another person in any attempt to seize or intimidate that person to not follow through with their independent thought. B. Verbal is defined as any attempt to take away or limit another person's right to have control of their own body in regards to abortion. Section 5. Funding. 1. The annual funding to maintain the Women's Protection and Healthcare Hotline shall be $2.7 million. Section 6. Signature. 1. After signing this bill is regarded as U.S. law. The President of the United States.
Thank you, Clerk Williams. That was
We
very
ended right on time. 8:53.
impassioned speech, and we did end right at 9:53. That was phenomenal, actually. Absolutely phenomenal.
Congratulations,
I
Charles.
love making time. This is why we do what we do. Okay.
We do what we do, we say
Motion
what we say, and we live how we live.
Excuse me, Senator Evans.
You're excused.
A motion without objection is on the table to move the bill to a debate.
Second.
Hearing a sufficient second and no objections, the motion is so heard. All right.
Motion to bypass debate and move directly to a vote.
Object.
The objection is heard. The motion will be voted on. Motion to bypass debate on the PWRA is on the table. Senator Scott, how do you cast?
No.
Senator Cunningham. Senator Cunningham votes in the affirmative. Senator Evans.
A.
Senator Evans votes aye. Senator Romney.
Nay.
Senator Romney votes nay. Senator Abdullah.
Nay.
Senator Abdullah votes nay. The vote stands 3 having voted nay, 2 aye, 3 having not voted. I cast my vote in the negative. The motion is not agreed to. The bill is up for debate. Is there a senator wishing to speak on the bill?
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Scott,
Oh.
you are so heard by the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise today in opposition to the legislation, and I wanted to just go over point by point as to why. I don't think that tonight's debate on the PWRA should be a relitigation of Roe v. Wade. That debate has been had for years and years and years. There's no reason to have it again tonight, so let's just speak on the contents of this bill. And the reason I'm voting no is not, it has nothing to do, and I wanted to get that over with right at the top. So, to start with, I wanted to say that I don't think any of us are opposed to a hotline for women that feel threatened based on whether they have an abortion or not, or even the fact that they're considering having an abortion. I don't think any of us would be opposed to that. And that people that physically or verbally intimidate a woman that is considering having an abortion, I don't think anybody is against that. However, what I'm against is federally funding abortion procedures via Planned Parenthood. And I would be willing to officially define abortion as healthcare, which would then allow private insurers to, if they wanted to cover the cost of abortion. That would be one thing. But I don't think that we should federally fund abortion, and that's just my opinion, just based on the fact that I think that people need to be financially self-sufficient. It's not the duty of the government to provide something like this to women, unless it would be in the case that a woman's life is in danger. That would be a different debate, and that's a whole other topic. But the sole reason I'm voting against the PWRA is for the federal funding of Planned Parenthood, specifically for abortion procedures. Planned Parenthood should not be defunded, and I think most of us would agree on that. I'm pretty sure all of us would agree that are here that Planned Parenthood does do some great things, although it was funded by horrible people, eugenists, if I'm saying that right, that they do provide great resources and education to young people regarding sex education, birth control, and just their bodies in general. And I think that is worthy of federal funding. What is not worthy of federal funding is a procedure that you as an American are responsible to cover yourself. It's not the responsibility of the government to pay for this. So with that said, I'm happy to hear other point of views on this issue, and I yield back to the chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Evans, you're recognized by the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hearing what the senator from South Carolina has said, I can agree with many of his points, but where I cannot agree with him is one on the fact that women are more at risk now because of the repeal of Roe v. Wade that the Supreme Court has followed through with. Women are now vulnerable to, if they are raped, if they have been raped, or if they have participated in incest, not to be able to not give birth to the baby because of restrictions such as we have seen in the Commonwealth of Cambridge by Governor John Trump. Mr. Chairman, the issue of abortion should not be one that is divisive. I agree with Senator Scott when he says that abortion is health care. Abortion is health care, which is why, after I finish my speech, I would like to propose a motion to amend the bill before passing it in full. But, Mr. Speaker, more women today rely on Planned Parenthood and the procedures that they offer than ever before. And while there may be disagreements on who has funded Planned Parenthood, it is undisputable to say that Planned Parenthood, when they provide for things like mammograms, as well as other women health procedures, that they are vital and that the federal government must fund those procedures for those who are low income. The federal government has a duty to provide basic needs, and while I am in support of a small government, I believe that the government must have some sort of safety net for the people. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I would like to propose a motion to amend the bill.
Motion to amend the bill is on the floor. Is there
Permission to speak?
Is there an objection? There's a motion on the floor, Senator Abdullah, but... All right. Hearing none, we'll vote on the motion. Or we'll vote on the amendment. Excuse me. Senator Scott?
Well, can I say what the amendment is? Can I say what the amendment is?
Yes. Senator Evans.
Okay. The amendment to the bill is to remove Section 2 as well as to remove Section 2 and Section 4 of the bill to replace Section 2 with the following title of the section: definition of abortion, Section 1, subsection 1 of Section 2. Abortion is hereby defined as healthcare. Subsection 2 of Section 1. Insurance companies residing and based within the United States have the ability to cover abortion as a healthcare procedure as long as it is up to self-determination within the insurance company, meaning that like the federal government cannot mandate that they provide it. And that's the end of the amendment.
All right. Is there a senator wishing to debate the amendment?
I would.
Senator Abdullah, you're recognized by the chair.
Let's say one day you return to the cabin to discover that an infant has been left at the door without an explanation. You
Senator
have an
Abdullah,
obligation
I'm just
to care
gonna
for that infant.
Senator Abdullah, I'm going to use...
Who will surely die
Senator
if you
Abdullah,
do not take
Senator
it
Abdullah.
A vast majority
Senator
of people
Abdullah,
would say yes.
Senator
Evans
Abdullah,
says small government
Senator Abdullah.
that funds the group that funds killing on behalf of the government
am I not
spending.
the
Senator
chair?
Abdullah, please.
Parliamentary
You have a
inquiry.
general
not the chair?
obligation to
Senator
protect the
Abdullah.
vulnerable.
Senator Abdullah. Senator Abdullah. The motion is not on the bill itself. Debate on the motion will happen. A debate on the bill itself will happen after the amendment has done being voted on. We are voting on an amendment to the bill itself. I'm sure you have a very impassioned speech, and I'm sure everyone would want to hear it and debate that speech. This is a very important and impassioning topic that many people would want to debate on.
I actually had one more thing.
Allow us to just vote on the motion to amend this
for the first amendment, but then I have another one to amend that.
Okay, well, allow us to just
Or can I just add it?
allow us to just get through these amendments, and I am going to be quite strict about debate on the amendments. If the topic of the debate does not pertain specifically to the amendment itself, then I'm going to be stopping it and moving forward. Open season in the debate on the bill itself, though. Understood, Senator Abdullah?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Where were we? Without objection, the debate on the first motion is over. We'll be moving to a vote. Senator Scott, how do you vote on the first amendment?
This is the amendment proposed by
Senator Evans.
Senator Evans.
Yeah.
Affirmative.
That's an aye. Senator
said
Cunningham,
aye.
how do you vote? Someone wants to
He said
look.
aye.
He said aye. Senator Cunningham votes in the
He said
affirmative.
aye. Yeah.
Senator Evans, how do you vote?
A.
Senator Evans votes in the affirmative. Senator Romney, how do you vote? Senator Romney votes in the affirmative. Senator Abdullah.
I object.
Fuck.
We're in the middle of a vote, Senator.
I'm going to read this. No,
That
no,
was
I'm just going to read
loud.
the speech again. Let's say one day you return to the cabin to
Server
discover
mute
that
him.
an infant has been left.
Okay.
Unacceptable, Senator.
Mm.
This is not the House of Representatives. We will not be accepting or tolerating that type of behavior. And this is, frankly, not the Cooley Senate. I, in the Sanders Senate, will not be accepting that type of behavior.
And you are not Frank Underwood.
People Senate, not a person's Senate.
Well,
Unless it was
We're
when I
talking
was
about
PPT, then we
we're
can call it the Scott.
we're talking about the presiding officer of the chair. This is the Senate. Is
Continue
a different
on the
body of
vote.
itself. We're going to be continuing on the vote. Senator Abdullah, you can put your vote in the chat and give that speech when we're debating the bill itself. All right. The vote stands at 4 affirmative. Has Senator Abdullah cast a vote in the chamber? He has not.
He is not.
Give another 5 seconds for that. Someone wants to tag him.
Let's say you return to the cabin and okay.
If the clerk would just tag Senator Abdullah to vote.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you.
Is this like the cabin in Hansel and Gretel,
Is this
where there's a witch inside with candy?
Yeah, and that witch is Planned Parenthood.
And the children represent the fetuses that
Sure.
will be consumed
All right. As the
and turned
chair,
into a nice roast.
Senator Abdullah could cast his vote in the affirmative or the negative or abstain for the record if he wishes later. I vote in the affirmative for the amendment. The amendment has passed unanimously. Moving forward to Senator Evans, which I believe you have asked for the floor afterwards to introduce the Second Amendment. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
The
Senator-
Second Amendment is to. Sorry.
I'm not
Are you
sure
ready?
what fucking loaded means, but we'll just. Okay, before we move forward, unserver mute, Abdullah, for a second.
We gonna
Okay.
put out on the
Abdullah,
show.
look, you cannot obstruct a vote with a speech, however impassioned that is. We're about to be debating the bill, and I'd love to hear your speech for as long as you want when we're debating that bill. But let us just get through the amendments. So
Guess what?
let
You
us-
missed your chance to hear that speech. Didn't give me a chance to say it then I'm not going to say it now.
Well, if
Okay.
Well, we're
you're
losing
not
now.
going to understand the Senate
If-
rules and
if-
just expect,
If Senator Sanders,
excuse me, Senator Scott,
If you don't,
if you're not, if you're gonna,
I have a chance to fucking speak and I spoke.
Oh.
You didn't give me a chance to finish it, so I am not going to finish it.
Is this who we are?
Senator Abdullah, I
Is
hope
this
you're
what we
aware.
represent?
Is
I
this
hope
who we
you're.
are?
I hope you're
Is
aware.
this what we
I'm just gonna
represent?
order in the Senate. Senator Abdullah, I hope you're aware that this is on C-SPAN. All right.
Well, they came to get a show, and now a low-rated channel is going to get their publicity.
I didn't know Donald Trump was in the room. I didn't know
he's
Donald
never
Trump
gonna
was in the
say
room.
it. He's saying, wait
This
a
is your
minute.
party chair.
Like,
This is
yes,
your
I'm
party-
now Donald Trump.
Well,
Pay me my fucking money.
Oh.
We can have the sergeant at arms.
I think it's
Take
all right.
medicine
I
chamber.
think just tempers have flared.
Someone pop a Percocet in his water.
We'll
You
let
Xanax.
Senator
I got.
Concepts won't work for nothing.
Some senators get the candy desk. I get the. I also get candy
Look,
desk, but it's
I have
not.
a candy
Let's just
desk, but it's
clarify
full
real
of
quick.
white
Hold
pills.
on. Order in the Senate. Let's just clarify real quick what happened. There was no obstructing Senator Abdullah's speech. They were simply instructing or enforcing the rules and ensuring that parliamentary procedure was met. If you roll back the tape, and the clerk can confirm this, I was pretty damn respectful and offered an opportunity for
Also,
and offered an
I was
opportunity
respectful too.
server mute and offered an opportunity
Okay.
for the senator to speak a number of times when we debated the bill. We could be at debate right now, and he could be giving a speech right now had he not blown up, and I think that's quite unfortunate. Moving forward, Senator Evans, you said you had a second amendment to bring up, and we can unserver mute Robert, I think, if he will stay muted.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
You sure you want to do that?
I think, yeah. I don't want to keep people server muted, but
Okay, can I propose mine now?
yes.
The the amendment is to amend the title of the Protection of Women's Rights Act and to rename it to the Evans-Scott Cooperation and Women's Healthcare Act of 2021.
I second.
Without objection, the motion is on the table. Hearing none, the amendment is added to the bill. All right, back to debate on.
What's the new title? What's the new title?
I'm going to send it right now.
Yeah, thank you. Back to debate on the legislation itself. Is there a very impassioned senator wishing to debate the Evans-Scott Cooperation in Women's Health?
This is not a statement. I'm just gonna change the bill. I'm just gonna change the bill right now since we passed the amendment. So I'm
Okay,
gonna
yeah, that's
go
fine.
ahead and
That's fine.
edit it.
Yep.
That's okay.
All right.
Okay.
Total authorization to do
It won't be
that.
an obstruction.
Is there a senator wishing to debate this legislation?
This is your chance.
If Senator Abdullah doesn't want to talk about the cabin, I would like to be recognized.
Senator Scott.
Well, then you're recognized.
Well, Senator Abdullah has absolutely no power, given you're an unelected appointed senator right now who thinks he can go against
My
the
power
chair.
is my voice, and
Go
I'm giving him
against the chair.
permission to speak, so let him speak.
I'm
Serve him.
sorry.
Oh my
I don't
God.
know. This is ridiculous.
Respectful.
Server mute.
Time is ticking. Tick tock, tick tock,
Look,
tick tock.
I like
Hey.
grandstanding when there's something to stand for. Other than that, it's not very appealing. Senator Scott, you have the
Good
floor.
God.
I wasn't going to speak on Senator Abdullah's behavior. I've worked with him in the past, and he has been nothing but a respectful public servant.
You're here.
I don't know what this is, but I'm frankly shocked and appalled. This is not the kind of behavior that should ever be tolerated of a United States Senator. I don't care what party you're a part of. If you're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, this should never be tolerated. You know, I've had plenty of disagreements with colleagues in the past, whether Republican or Democrat, and I've never stooped to that level, and no one I've ever worked with has ever stooped to that level. But continuing on, I wanted to speak about the legislation. When this was first proposed, it was sort of a response to the Supreme Court overturning Roe versus Wade. In which case, I don't think that's the duty of the United States Senate, which is why I was happy that my colleague Senator Evans proposed two amendments to vastly change this legislation and just to much more of a compromise, and as he put it in the title, cooperation, so that we can make sure that women are protected without enforcing, going too far in the federal government going too far and spending money that shouldn't be spent. So this legislation might have started out as a pro-abortion, no matter what kind of bill, or that's what it may have been seen as. But this is merely to protect women, period. And it's to make sure that women aren't being abused or treated differently based on their decisions. I'm not in favor of abortion. I'm very pro-life, but it's not my position to legislate on that. And I don't think we should. That's just my opinion. It's my opinion also that if abortion is going to happen, we ought to have it safely done. There ought to be a safe way to have it, and that women should be protected should they choose to have an abortion. Again, that's not the decision I would make, but there has to be avenues and protections there in place. In an ideal world, there would be no health problems, there would be no rape, there would be no incest, and therefore no need to have an abortion option. But that's just unrealistic. So, while I wish we didn't have to go to this length to protect women, I wish that there wasn't a need for this bill. There is. And that's why I'm happy to have my name on this legislation. And I implore all of my colleagues to vote for the amended legislation, the
Which is
Evans,
in the chat.
the
It's in the
Evans
Senate chamber chat.
in Women's Healthcare Act of 2021. And I yield back.
It's in the chat for everyone. If you didn't hear.
Thank you, Senator Scott. That was an impassioned speech, and I have to say, as a voting member of the United States Senate, I was on the fence about this legislation before. I'm a person who agrees very much so with liberty and personal individuality, and that comes from a principle, and that principle extends despite my personal beliefs on abortion. But I think I'll be voting in favor of this legislation, and I urge members of my caucus to do the same. I have to say, as chair, now that things have calmed down, that was quite ridiculous. Senator Abdullah is someone who, like Senator Scott said, I've worked with greatly over the last however many years in politics. And we've had a close relationship over his time in the Senate. I don't know what that explosion was about, and I thought I was pretty more understanding than I've seen a chair be in a long time, especially if faced with words like that about it. And in the original instance, I was pretty clear about the fact that you could have just waited that 5 minutes and been the first to speak on the legislation. I think it's quite unfortunate to the people of Superior when offered that to get petty about it and then choose not to speak on the legislation, choose not to represent your constituents in office because of the fact that you had a misunderstanding with the chair and didn't understand the rules of the Senate as this was your first Senate session. I think that's quite disappointing, and I think that reflects greatly, or that type of behavior does reflect greatly on someone's character. That being said, we'll continue.
Permission to speak?
Senator Abdullah, you have the floor.
An apology.
You
First and foremost, I'd like to apologize for my actions here, but I would like to continue saying what I was earlier, before I kind of got interrupted.
The floor is all yours.
Let's say one day you return to the cabin to discover that an infant has been left at the door without explanation. You have an obligation to care for that infant who will surely die if you do not take it in. Vast majority of people would say yes. Senator Evans says small government, yet funds the group that funds killing on behalf of the government's spending. We have a general obligation to protect the vulnerable, and a special obligation towards those who continuously encounter concludes us being established. It's extremely hard to support the argument that continuously dehumanizes, dismembers, and rips the unborn apart. We are in America that dignifies life. That's all.
Mr. Chairman, once again, I first of all, I'd like to thank my colleague Senator Abdullah for his apology, and I hope that that never happens on the Senate floor again. So, first I wanted to speak on what Senator Abdullah said, which was, frankly, not true. Not a single word of it was true. And again, I have a great respect for Senator Abdullah, but it was not true. He wants you to believe that the United States federal government, through this legislation, would be funding abortion. And again, that could not be further from the truth. If it was, my name wouldn't be on this legislation, and I would be in vast opposition just like you. What this legislation does is it establishes a national hotline to prevent women from being targeted by verbal or physical harassment or abuse. And if you're voting against that, then you have no soul. You are condoning women being targeted for the choices they've made on in their life, and it doesn't matter what your opinion on abortion is. If you're pro-choice, you're pro-life, whatever. I happen to be pro-life, and I have my name on this list because I know there are thousands of women, hundreds of thousands of women across the United States that are targeted by family members, by friends, by acquaintances, whoever, for the simple fact that they decided to go to get an abortion. And it's not right. It's not right. You should not be verbally or physically harassing any person at any time. That is 100% unacceptable. And it hurts me to see someone that I truly respect twist the bill. And I don't even think he clearly has not read the bill. It's a short bill. It won't take that long to read. It does not fund abortion, period. So, with that said, I'm going to yield back in just a moment. But I wanted to also speak briefly on our colleague in the House, Congressman Dick Cheney, who also put out a statement that is full of lies, blatant lies, trying to argue that the United States federal government, through this legislation, would be funding fetuses being ripped out of women. Those were his words. And it is despicable to suggest that we would ever fund such a thing. To suggest that members of your own party would support this from across the political spectrum. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. And I have a statement in response to him coming out very shortly. And again, I urge all of my colleagues to vote for this compromise. This is a compromise. There's a reason that we amended this thing. We had 2 amendments because a compromise needed to be had, something had to be done, and now it's getting done. And I yield back.
Okay, sorry for the interruption, but I have read the
Senator
bill.
Abdullah, we have a procedure. You ask for the floor to be spoken to.
I asked for the floor.
All
Sorry
right.
for the interruption. I have read the bill. My
Senator
floor time
Abdullah.
has been omitted.
You are recognized by the chair.
Round
you may
of applause.
proceed.
Already proceeded. Finished.
Mr. Chairman,
Well,
I have a motion.
no one understood a word of what you said because you didn't do it right. But Senator...
Well, I'll say something else.
Senator
the hotline
Evans,
includes abortion,
Senator
which is
Evans,
really
server mute.
shouldn't.
Server mute. Senator Evans, you're recognized
Done.
by the chair. Gotta love that server mute. That's
I
the
motion for us. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
No, sorry.
Okay. I motion for us to recess and reconvene in 10 minutes so I can put my 10 bills into paper format.
I don't even know if I can stay on for another
Yeah.
10 minutes.
It won't take that long. They're very
you
short.
If
They're
we
they're
will
one.
stay-
They're
just
there are 2
you-
sections.
That's not
You, I have bills I can put up, Senator. I have 2 bills. In that process, you write those bills, and then we can get that done. How about that?
What I'm saying
Okay.
is,
Well, I'm gonna be on mute and deafen for like 10 minutes.
okay. I'm not going to be able to stay on to go through 10 bills. So
There are 2 sections each,
That's
and one of the sections is signature.
40 sections, is it not?
So they're really one section.
That's still 20 sections.
That is
is it
20,
not?
but the bill itself, it should probably take 10 minutes to pass. Or
Well, I think
Nay.
we found that.
Well,
I'll just take some time as
have
the
with the-
chair. I think we found how easy it is for a session to happen, even without planning today. And I think that we've shown that we can do it again very soon. It doesn't have to happen once a week. So, we're here for a reason. I think we could do.
well, they're getting proposed today.
I think we could do probably about 2 pieces of legislation left.
Lazy
Just
fuckers.
just as respect to the Senate. I mean, it's 10:30. We've been here an hour and 30 minutes.
And
I would stay forever.
fine,
I would stay forever.
listen,
Out of respect for the rest of people, and so we can keep a quorum, let's just get these last 2 in.
Here's what I'll do. I will propose 2 in call and the other 8 in the Senate itself, outside of call.
That sounds like a perfect compromise. Senator Williams, if you could unmute Senator Abdullah. All right, Senator Evans, you have the floor.
The bill is entitled The bill is entitled Removal of the Natural Resource Conservation Service Act of 2021. Section 1, Removal of the Natural Resource Conservation Service Reasoning. Subsection 1 of Section 1. The Natural Resource Conservation Service was set up to help farmers minimize soil erosion. Subsection 2 of Section 1. The 12,000 person agency has 2,500 field offices and costs taxpayers a total of $800 million per year. Subsection 3 of Section 1. The U.S. General Accounting Office, the GAO, has found 0 differences in soil erosion between areas that participate in the program and those that don't. Section 2. Ending of funding for the Natural Resource Conservation Service. Subsection 1 of Section 2. The Natural Resource Conservation Service shall be disbanded and defunded. Section 3. Signature. Subsection 1 of Section 3. After signing, this bill is regarded as U.S. law. The President of the United States.
Thank you, Senator Evans.
Motion to bypass committee.
The motion to bypass committee is heard. Is there a sufficient second for unanimous consent?
Second.
Having heard a sufficient second and no objections, the bypass is so ordered. The bill is on the floor for debate.
Oh, he objected. Henry Cunningham objected.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Excuse me, Henry. Having heard an objection, the bypass is up for a vote. Senator Scott, how do you vote on the bypass?
Aye.
Senator Cunningham. Senator
Nay.
Abdullah.
Nay.
Senator Evans.
A.
Having 2 in the affirmative, 2 in the negative, the chair votes in the affirmative. The bypass is so ordered. Just for the sake of business, the bypass is so ordered. The bill is up for debate.
Motion to bypass debate and move to a full vote.
The motion to bypass debate is so heard. Is there a sufficient second for unanimous consent?
He objects. Henry.
Having heard no sufficient second, and with an objection from the minority leader, the bypass is up for a vote. Senator Scott, how do you cast your vote?
Aye.
Senator Scott votes to bypass debate. Senator Cunningham. Senator Cunningham votes in the negative. Senator Abdullah.
Aye.
Senator Abdullah votes in the affirmative.
Nay.
No, he already voted.
Senator Abdullah votes in
I
the
vote aye.
affirmative. Senator Evans votes in the affirmative.
A.
And Scott, you voted in the affirmative, right?
Yes.
Okay. 3 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative. I cast my vote in the negative. The motion is not heard. The bill is up for debate. If the minority leader has something to say on the debate, which is why I believe he objected. I believe that should be heard. That's the reasoning behind my vote.
Permission to speak to the chair.
Senator Abdullah, you are so heard. Senator Cunningham, type out your message and I can say it when he's done.
Back on the topic of the bill, fathers, for example, must pay child support even if they did not intend or desire to become fathers. Parents may not abandon their child or refuse to provide for their needs. Indeed, more generally, we are by nature members of communities. Our
Point of order.
flourishing invokes being in communion with others, and communion with others of itself.
I
Even if
wanted
we
to
find
apologize to
ourselves
Abdullah. This is
untitled
the
with
point of order.
others
Point of
because
orders
of
must be
physical
heard
or
by Senate
social
rules.
relationships, perceived or consents, entails duties or responsibilities. Third, the purpose of the uterus is to state the unborn child. It is where the child belongs. All human.
Okay, continue.
Okay, my point of order, and it upsets me that we have to continue mute Senator Abdullah, but just so we're all clear, a point of order when it is requested is just a brief question to clarify. It must be heard at all times. This is the same way how it works in every other legislature in the world. A point of order must be heard. I have a point of order, and it is. I was under the impression that we were discussing, let me get the exact name, the Defunding of the Natural Resource Conservation Service Act of 2021. But Senator Abdullah.
Also, why didn't we vote on the healthcare bill?
Wait, repeat it again, please.
I was under the impression that we were discussing the Defunding of the Natural Resource Conservation Service Act of 2021, not the Evan Scott Cooperation in Women's Healthcare Act.
Yes,
Also, why didn't we vote on that yet? 'Cause
that's
we
correct.
bypassed
We
it.
did.
We
We
need
are
to
in
vote on
debate
that.
currently on the.
No, I motioned to vote on that, the Evan Scott Cooperation in Women's Healthcare Act of 2021.
Well, we need to finish.
Oh, well, let's just do this one first, and then we can do it. Why are you asking that when he's not on the call? No, I was going to make it, and then you were like, well, we don't need to. I will do it. I will make it. Well, I will. In just a few minutes. I will make it. I will make it after I shower. I will make it. That's fine.
Also, I was wondering. Oh, never mind.
Well, he's not in the call.
If he's not in the call, then he can't hear you.
He's lost it.
I'm gonna say vote. I'm gonna ping him and say vote. What is it we said? Wait, what?
Henry, come on. Learn how to type, please.
Okay, no. Just continue as if he was in the call and see what he does. I know that's the point. If he wants,
It's not. Can we vote now?
we cannot engage with you if you.
Motion to vote.
Can I do the vote? Can I do the roll call? I know I was gonna say something, but I was like, nah. Okay. The vote is on what the
The defunding of the Natural Resource Conservation Service Act of 2021.
yes. Uh-huh. Okay. Mr. Abdullah, not present. Mr. Bennett, not present. Okay, whatever. Mr. Cunningham, okay. Um, Mr. Cooley. Oh fuck. Mr. Evans. Christ.
A.
Okay. Oh my god. Mr. Sanders. Mr. Scott.
Aye.
The vote on the bill is 2 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, 1 abstention, and I believe that's 3 not present. Actually, no, 2. Oh, 3. That was 2 ayes, 1 nay, 1 abstention. Oh, uh, Mr. Scott,
Nay.
Mr. Evans,
A.
Mr. Cunningham, Mr. Sanders, Mr. Mr. Abdullah.
Type bet.
Oh my god.
Idiot.
He left. Okay. Okay, he joined back. What's your vote? Okay.
Today.
On this vote, the ayes are 3, I believe, and then 1 nay, and then 1
Two
abstention.
nays. No, 2 nays.
Actually, yeah, 2 nays, and then 3 ayes.
I'm just going to propose it later in text form.
Point of order. I was under the impression that, or maybe point of parliamentary inquiry. I'm not sure. Okay. I was under the impression that we were voting on the motion to reconsider, essentially go back in the process.
Yes,
so
it
Senator
was.
could place the motion. Okay, I was just making sure that was clear because
Should
it's like
reconsider the
we
motion.
were voting on the passage of the bill.
No, that.
Okay.
Okay, there's a motion to reconsider the past motion. Okay, good.
Yes, correct. I motion to vote.
Objection. Okay. Motion to vote on the Evans Scott Cooperation in Women's Healthcare Act 2021. Mr. Scott.
Aaron, unmute.
Huh? Sorry, I was reading.
Vote on our bill.
The vote
Yes,
is on the motion to
I vote yes.
vote. Okay. Mr. Evans.
A.
Mr. Cunningham. Mr. Sanders.
Oh, no, nay. Wait. What the chair? But the clerk did not clarify that.
Pretty sure when there's an objection, you vote on the motion to vote.
But she did
so-
not clarify.
Listen, no, can I just clarify what can I just clarify what? Okay, okay. Motion to vote. No, vote on the objection presented by Senator Abdullah. Mr. Scott.
This was the motion on. I'm sorry, I'm typing.
On the
some-
objection.
On the objection,
Yes, on the objection to the motion to vote.
I vote no.
Mr. Scott, no. Mr. Evans.
Nay.
Mr. Evans. Mr. Cunningham. Mr. Cunningham. No. Mr. Sanders. Mr. Sanders, nay. Mr. Abdullah. Mr. Abdullah, aye. On this vote, the ayes are 1, the nays are 4. The motion is not agreed to.
So can we vote on the bill itself now? Okay.
And I know, right? Okay. This is the vote on the Evans Scott Cooperation in Women's Healthcare Act of 2021. Mr. Scott.
Aye.
Mr. Scott, aye. Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Evans, aye. Mr. Cunningham. Mr. Cunningham.
Enrolled.
Okay. Mr. Cunningham, I, Mr. Sanders. Mr. Sanders, I, Mr. Abdullah. Mr. Abdullah, nay. On this vote, the ayes are 4, the nays are 1. The bill is not agreed to. The bill is not passed.
The bill is passed.
Wait, the bill
genius.
is passed, but
You is smart. You is kind.
wait, how is
You is
okay?
important.
Okay, at least
Hezbollah.
it doesn't matter. I don't have.
Where are my AirPods? Good God.
You already proposed that motion. It failed. No, it wasn't Richards. I think it was. Fuck, I don't know. Yeah. Yes. Oh, yes, it's probably.
Object. I withdraw the objection, massa.
This is on the motion to reconsider again?
Yes.
Nay. We've had ample opportunity. Nay.
Actually, I'll answer mute him. He's not speaking, but still.
Nay. Nay.
Are we still live by any chance? Oh yes. I have something to watch tomorrow.
No live.
I know, right?
Joking.
Well, I mean, when I eat breakfast,
really.
I watch something, and so I have nothing to watch anymore. I finished the Selena series.
I will just, how about, I will propose my 9 other bills in paper form after this. Actually, I'll propose all 10 again because I'm going to I actually would like to go shower. I love being obstructionist.
Robert,
Well, you never know.
Abdullah would put up a motion to
Okay.
reconsider, even if he doesn't have any amendments.
We are going down an endless rabbit hole, and it's getting too late. Good night.
A. Okay. That's cool. Thank ya. Plastic. Go back to being plastic. Oh my god. Good god.
So either find something else to do or sit back. Jesus Christ, this is the same guy who wants to school me.
I agree. I concur with someone Cunningham. I can agree. Shit. I concur with Senator Cunningham. Someone kill me. Please. Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly. Oh no. No.
He said that he would.
Oh, you should have seen some of the sessions, honey. Don't you like
I mean, if Robert
honey,
wasn't
the
mad,
3 a.m. sessions where we're debating.
oh, I remember that. I love that. Yeah,
You should have
I
seen
have
the
good
elections
questions.
on Mech News. The election nights on Mech News.
Imagine how. Imagine how. Wait, Robert. I mean, well, yeah. Yeah. Imagine how low. Okay.
Okay. We're not. Yeah.
It's honestly shameful.
Well, I wonder why. Okay. Good God. Motion to adjourn, please. Motion to adjourn the session.
I mean, he wasn't really
Second.
filibustering anything. He was just
I second.
speaking.
I second.
Objection. Okay, is this a vote on the objection or on the motion to adjourn? Okay. So now we have to vote on the objection. Okay. Okay, vote on the motion to adjourn. Mr. Evans.
The vote on the motion to adjourn the Senate or the filibuster?
Filibuster.
A.
Mr. Cunningham.
Mr. Sanders. Mr. Abdullah. On this vote, the ayes are 3, the nays are 1. Actually, no, sorry. You already said nay. I'm sorry.
Since we love to reconsider things, let's put up a motion to reconsider that motion.
Thank you.
Can I just say that